Like many gamers, I immediately backed IGA's project Bloodstained on Kickstarter, and it's been a long wait, but we're getting close, and to tide us over is the new Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, a new game done in the vein of Castlevania 3. And even though IGA and I don't always see eye to eye on Castlevania lore, we both agree that Castlevania 3 is one of the best games the series ever saw, so I was very excited to get my hands on this title. But will this one have you howling at the moon in excitement, or is this game completely cursed? Bloodstained Curse of the Moon comes to us from Inti Creates, and they've done some great retro-inspired games like Mighty Gunvolt Burst and Blaster Master Zero. From the moment you begin this game to the very last screen of it, the game screams influence from Castlevania and of course in particular Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. The game very much mimics the style and will bring back a lot of nostalgic feelings in both look, feel, and difficulty. Though the game's not nearly as difficult as that title, at least at the start. There are multiple difficulties you'll be able to unlock once you complete the game for the first time on normal. The main playable character is Zangetsu, and just like Castlevania 3, there are other characters you can get to join you along the way. Though unlike that game, you can actually have all of them at one time and switch between them freely, unlike Castlevania 3 where you can only have one ally with you. What's also cool though is you can decide instead of taking them with you, you can absorb them and gain a new power for Zangetsu. His main weapon is a sword, but reminds me a little bit of the main character from Master of Darkness from the Sega Master System, which was a Castlevania clone. The other characters actually have better weaponry really than he does, but you can decide either to bring them along as allies and have all of them with you at once, or you can actually absorb them for a special power-up for Zangetsu. You can also even make the game tougher if you want by not picking up any of them, just kind of ignoring them and walking by, not gaining them as an ally, and not absorbing them. Throughout the game's levels, there are multiple paths if you want to take them, and there's kind of skeletons lined up to kind of point you in how difficult each direction is. There are permanent upgrades that you can find scattered in levels, and usually they're down the most difficult paths, of course. For the most part, I very much enjoyed the level design, including the boss fights at the end of stages. There were some really cool ones as far as design or what you ended up having to do. The game, though, is kind of lax at some parts in difficulty, giving you a lot of the special weapons or sub-weapons that you would need or power-ups right before some of the most difficult spots. Because of the various upgrades that you can find, the multiple playable characters, and unlockable difficulties, there's a decent amount of replayability, even if your initial playthrough of Curse of the Moon will probably only take you about an hour, hour and a half. From the technical side of things though, the game ran smoothly. I didn't run into any major glitches, crashes, or slowdowns, and this goes through my playthrough on the PS4 as well as my playthrough on the Nintendo Switch. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is available now on the PS4, Nintendo Switch, 3DS, PC, Vita, and Xbox One for $9.99, and unfortunately though does not have a Platinum trophy. Overall, no doubt Inti Creates knocked it out of the park as far as recreating the look and feel of classic Castlevania. This game very much feels like a spiritual successor, like what the next game in Castlevania could have been on the NES, especially with the tweaks to stuff like having a 4-person party system. With that said though, the music was enjoyable. I don't know if it will be quite as iconic as classic Castlevania music, and this game is very much one of those ones that hits on all the right nostalgic notes, but we'll have to see whether or not it ends up standing the test of time. I do wish though there was a few more unlockables or a few more unlockable modes other than stuff just like difficulty or boss rush, just a little bit more here. But with that said, I'm still going to be giving the game an 8 out of 10. But with that, it's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.